Hey, what's up guys? I'm Silky Crisp, and I just aim trained for over 100 hours over the last 30 days. That's over 3 hours a day on average, and I set this goal in another video, and then I actually followed through with it, and I just wanted to talk today about what I learned through the last 30 days. So the reason that I did this was I felt like my aim had gotten rusty. Last year I put over 600 hours into Kovaaks, and I had climbed all the way to a Voltaic Grandmaster, and then once I hit that point, I decided to dial back my aim training just enough to warm up for games. And so over the last 6 months or so, I really was only doing maybe 20 minutes of aim training just to warm up, not a lot, and that was purely just to warm up for games. So I definitely felt like my aim had gotten rusty. The second reason was I wanted to figure out how to play a lot and how to aim train a lot without any hand or wrist pain. Last year, during those 600 hours, I was experiencing some wrist pain, and I've experienced some wrist pain off and on over the last 6 months, and I wanted to figure out what I could change with my routine that would allow me to play a lot so that I can, climb higher, because I would like to get Nova eventually on the benchmarks, and also just I want to play a lot so that I can get better at different games like Apex Legends, but still maintain healthy, pain-free hands and wrists. Once I started aim training 3 hours a day, I was experimenting with a whole bunch of different routines, like a stretching routine to start, breaking it up into 30-minute sessions and taking 5-minute breaks, taking a 1-minute break after every 3 minutes, just trying everything that I could think of, 10-second breaks here and there. And ultimately, the number one thing that I found that works for me is I check in with my hands and my arms after each scenario completes, and I just ask myself, am I feeling tired or fatigued? Or am I feeling any pain? And if the answer is yes to any of that, then I just stop and I let my hands recover. I wait a full minute or 2 minutes, whatever it takes, until I feel like my arm is ready to go again. This kind of clicked for me when I was watching some videos on strength training. They talk about rest periods, and some people recommend 3 to 5 minute rest periods always, but the reality is that you want to just make sure that you have caught your breath, you're not feeling fatigued, and that you feel like you can give another set, perfect form, all out, close to failure. And I feel like that's a similar thing could be applied to aim training. Is you just want to do really good focused reps with proper form, and you don't need to go overboard with tons and tons of volume, as long as you're just really focused on maintaining healthy form. So again, I tried different formal routines, and I think it works for a lot of people. For me personally, I just like to take breaks whenever I need them. Sometimes I felt like I was taking breaks when I didn't need to, and other times I felt like I needed a break, because different scenarios require different amounts of tension. If you're doing a really heavy reactive tracking scenario where the bot is constantly strafing different directions, you're gonna just have more tension in your hands because you're constantly having to fight the bot. Whereas if you're playing something like a dynamic dot scenario like Pasu, you're not going to have that much tension because it's not necessary, right? So that brings me to my second point, which is I really worked on lowering the amount of tension that I used while aim training. I like to think of tension on a scale from 0 to 10, where 10 is I'm death gripping my mouse and I'm really rigid and I can barely move without jerking the mouse around. And then at a level of 0, that's like a complete relaxation noodle arm, where I can't even move my arm because it's literally just so relaxed. So I've been trying to keep it between a 1 and 5 if I can help it. I do carry a little bit more tension in my shoulder during certain scenarios like static dots or reactive tracking, but in general I really focused on lowering the amount of tension that I needed, because I don't get as tired as quickly, so I need less breaks so that I can play more. And I think just in general it's better to be relaxed while you play, because you can get really inconsistent aim if you're constantly tense. So if you're in a gunfight and you're flexing your arm really hard, the slightest movement could completely throw up your crosshair. Whereas if you're just relaxed and turning your wrist, you're most likely going to be much more consistent. And I think that's in general the way that you should approach most gunfights in any shooter, is just to calmly dismantle your opponent and not really try to fight the tension. Okay, the third thing that I did was I wore a brace at night. I actually realized I was sleeping on my hands at night whenever I slept on my belly, and I kind of found this out through the fact that I had taken a 2-week break off of using my computer almost completely, and I was still having a little bit of wrist pain here and there, and it was only on days where I had slept kind of funny. So I started wearing a wrist brace at night, and that helped a lot. I don't feel any wrist pain anymore, and I think that was probably one of the major causes for wrist pain for me. So if you guys do sleep on your stomach, you might consider investing in a wrist brace just to wear at night. And the fourth thing that I did was I would ice my hands in a bowl of cold water with some ice cubes for around 20 minutes. Only on days where I had kind of gone overboard and I had aim trained for like 5 or 6 hours. I don't know that you want to ice your hands every single day, but I definitely noticed a difference when I did and did not ice my hands. It really just cut down the inflammation in my hands the next day. So I recommend doing that. If you guys are going overboard and you play like 16 hours one day, you might just try to ice your hands for 10-20 minutes at night, just to make sure that the inflammation kind of calms down in your hands so that you can play again tomorrow if necessary, or at least to just keep your hands healthy. Okay, and finally, the results. Did I actually get better? And I would say 100% yes. I actually got my first Nova score in Smoothbot. I'm currently sitting at Master with mostly Jade scores. I've got a couple Diamond scores just randomly, mostly because I haven't been actively focused on grinding all of the benchmarks. It's been more of me just figuring out how to aim with a lot less tension and taking breaks so that my hands don't hurt. That was the majority of my focus, not trying to really get my skill level up. But I think I can get Master complete here within the next week or two if I just actively focus on the benchmarks I'm not very good at. Still not very good at static dots right now, but my tracking is really good, and I think that's just because the last 6 months I played a lot of Apex. So anyways, I'm gonna dial back the aim training again. I think 1 to 2 hours is probably ideal for me. I think with 2 hours a day, if I'm focused and I follow a solid routine, I think I can hit Nova in the future. But anyways, that's what I learned from 30 days of aim training over 3 hours a day. And thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helps you guys out.